It's gonna be this wool. So hello and welcome to the podcast. I'm Alex and I'll be talking to you about all my knitting, crochet and spinning exploits throughout the last few months. So it's been quite a while, I think, since the last time I podcasted, because we've just been doing like a load of stuff in the garden and yeah, sorting loads of things out. So feels like it's been quite busy. And then I was a little bit poorly. I had like this horrible cough and cold that was going around, so I just felt like being asleep. So those are my excuses. And now, let us get into it. I hope everyone's all right and that the weather's not sort of getting you down. I don't know what it's like where you are, but it's just rainy and a bit grim where we are. I think we've been a bit lucky with the weather kind of recently. It's quite sunny, but I think that might be it until winter now. I'm hoping for some of those lovely crisp days that you get in the autumn, so we'll see how it goes. So there's a lot of stuff going on at the moment and we've just finished bats to hats. So I do want to say who's won that, but I'm going to do another short video about that because I haven't done it yet, and usually I go and find some snails, and I did find a frog today. I thought maybe I could do a frog race, but I took the frog and put it in a hedge, so because he was in the way of something else. So I didn't do that. Anyway, so yeah, bats to hats will be in another video. But what do I even want to talk to you about? I'm getting really warm with this headband on. So I think first of all, I'm going to say it's Wovember next month, and I'm going to be one of the partners for #Wovember. So on Instagram, there'll be some prompts from I thought I knew how. And that's Anne's podcast, and it's a lovely podcast. I've been listening to it. It's she did a lot about Shetland Wool Week, and Jeanette Burge and Project Lonk, and just all British sheep breeds. Well, not just British sheep breeds, but she does a lot of knitting related stuff as well. I think in her profile photo on Instagram she's wearing I think it's a Stephen West painted bricks, I think it might be called, sure. And that's really pretty. So she's been organising everyone for Wovember, and I've put forward a prize, which is some of the wool that I've spun up that you saw me sorting not that long ago. So I spun all that, got that all spun up, and I've been making some headband kits for the shepherdess headband. I don't know if you ever follow @_Jo_Sky, and she like wears my headband every so often, and I go, yay, she's wearing my headband, because she test knitted it for me, which was really lovely. And yeah, it's colour work, so it's really warm, and it's really lovely. And the prize has two of where have I put it? Put it somewhere now. Anyway, oh yeah, there it is. One of these little sheep stitch markers that I got from Cat Designs, the pattern for my reindeer bauble, and a pattern and a yarn kit for this headband, which I'm going to take off now because I am so warm indoors. I was going to go outside, so I put on wool socks, leggings and trousers, and a strap top and a top which says I Heart Vampires, because it's nearly Halloween. So yeah, that's I'm really warm, so I've taken that off. But if you're outside and you want to be really warm, this is a really good pattern to make, and it's got little horned sheep. Well, and yeah, the Jacob sheep are horned horn sheep as well, so that kind of fits in with that. And it's all local, it's made in the Midlands. I know when you go down south, sometimes people are like, oh, what's the Midlands? I went to uni down south, so yeah, and people would be like, oh, you're from the north? And you'd be like, I'm from the Midlands. The Midlands is a place, it's on the roadside. And they'd laugh at you. But yeah, everything made in the Midlands, so I think that's really cool. Yeah, and the lady who's spun up the wool is really nice, and she doesn't use any harsh chemicals, so that's really good. I always get impatient with this, so I'm just chucking the wool in now. What you might want to do if yours... I'm really excited because I got to play with this little gadget that I made and it's just a bit like a Wheel of Fortune wheel, and yeah, it's going to be a bit of a surprise as to what I'm going to talk about in what order. So let's spin the wheel and see what I'm going to talk about today. Ooh, any other business? Okay, cool, let's talk about that. I think any of the business counts as what's in my Etsy shop really, so I'm going to show you, I'm looking at it now, very nice, this wool. So I don't know if it's working on the close-up here, but this wool is marled. It's got 3 different colours, so it's got black, grey and white, and it's a decal. You can get 15 wraps per inch, and I think it's soft enough for a hat. I suppose it's fingering weight, but I feel like it's more of a DK just because it's woolen spun and it's got quite a bit of springiness to it, and I think it shrinks a tiny little bit on washing, so I probably would have done a couple of more rows on my hat when I made it, because I made the white heart hat, which is in test knitting at the moment, and it's just a really simple beginner hat that you can use 100 grams of wool to make, and if you wanted to put a pom-pom on it, you've got enough wool to make a pom-pom. And yeah, I just think it's really striking in skein. If I do say so myself, I'm really happy with how it turned out, and I'm glad that I spent all the time getting the wool and sorting it, just so it really had everything that I wanted it to be. So you are very lovely. Thank you, Alex, that's very nice. You are welcome. But I didn't only do that, I also went to a lovely lady in Bromsgrove, and she has alpacas, and she has loads of different colours of alpacas. So she had this dark chocolate alpaca, a caramel alpaca, white alpacas and grey alpaca fleeces that she sold me so that I could take it to get spun. And at Griffiths Mill they also do alpaca, so that's sort of one of the reasons that I wanted to go there as well, other than it being one of the main local mills local to me. So I didn't bring up the chocolate alpaca, but I did bring up some of it that I asked her to didn't take much scouring because they're more dusty creatures than, like, they don't have lanolin, so they're not like greasy like sheep are. But like chickens, they do a dust bath, so they get themselves clean and get any sort of grubs out of their fleece by having a dust bath. And it's really funny. If you've ever seen, I've only seen a video of it, but it's so funny to watch. But it does mean they're really dusty. So she washed the alpaca, and it's like absolutely like a cloud. It's so soft. Yeah, and it's a really nice colour. So she just washed that. So if you did want to buy some of that, that's going to be in my shop. And This is a fingering weight alpaca, which is really soft too. I don't know what I thought it was going to come out like, but this white one, I'm really glad I just did separate a separate fleeces for the grey and the white. Just have them spun separately so that you get the quality of one fleece as opposed to mixing a lot together. Yeah, because these two, they're so soft. They're really, really soft. And if they were a shawl, they'd be really lovely. And I want to keep them, but I can't keep all of them. And I've only got, I think I've got like 7 of these, but I'll put them in my shop. This one's really soft, and I think I've got about 20 of these. And if I show you, oh, I almost didn't see it there because it's quite dark. This is the chocolate alpaca, so that's really nice too. And it was really good because their shearer had separated the saddle and the like leg bits, so there's one part that you want and one part that you don't, because the fleece isn't as long. So that was really great. And I think I'm going to call these a Rollola, because there's an alpaca called Rollo and an alpaca called Lola that she had, and she was saying that she couldn't remember if it's Rollo or Lola who had this gorgeous chocolatey fleece, and I thought that was quite a funny name to say. Rollola fingering weight. Yeah, and I've got some of this in a fingering weight yarn as well, so that will be lovely. Also, I've got some little things in my shop that I made. I've made these little bee key rings that are just crocheted. They probably have loads of these everywhere, but I was going to make them into little key rings. I thought they were quite cute. I'll put a little picture after that. And I think I'm going to make some different colours of these. They're like deconstructed bees, and it's all wool felt from Cloudcraft, which is some really lovely stuff. And this is, yeah, like I was saying, it's part of the prize that I'm going to give for Wovember. Just the pattern for the reindeer bauble. But I've got some other plans for these little reindeer as well, so that'd be cool. And let's spin that wheel again to see what we're going to get next. For the next one, it's going to be knitting, yay! Okay, cool. So knitting wise, I've got some works in progress and one finished object. So I don't have my finished object here because it was for my sister's birthday, so she's got it now. But it was an Ella Gordon design, and I'm going to try and remember what it was called. The Radiant Star mitts. If you've seen the Shetland Wool Week Annual 2020, that's got the Radiant Star cowl, which is like this really massive all over cowl, and it's got blue and yellow, and it kind of creates this glow, which is really lovely. Ella Gordon's colours are really nice, what she chooses, and she works for Jameson and Smiths. I think she still does, because she does the videos for Shetland Wool Week. So she must have access to like a massive like range of colours just right there, so that must be really cool. Yeah, so I've made those mittens, but I didn't put fingers on them, so I just made them into mitts. Oh, I did put thumbs though, put thumbs on, but I thought that's quite good because she can, like my sister can write and sort of do whatever work she needs to do without having the fingers, so that's fine. And I did almost run out of wool, but luckily I found some more Shetland black that I did have, which matched, so that's quite good. And yeah, so what can I say about the pattern? It was, I did it on DPNs, and it was using mainly Shetland wool, but I sort of did a bit of a stash dive, so I got some, I only had that blue colour in this Swedish wool that I got from Midwinter Yarns, but it's really nice. Actually I should do something else in that because it's like proper neon colours. So yeah, so it's really good for a spice colour. And what, I think I did, yeah, I did go down a size on the ribbing because I don't know if it's like our family, like I always feel like I have to go down a size on ribs, and my sister's wrists are quite, I think they're smaller. I think they're smaller than mine. So yeah, so I made it a little bit tighter on the rib and on the main hand, like just by, I think it's like a two, just like by 2.25 mil. And then yeah, I did the hand, and yeah, I found it like a little bit tricky getting into the star pattern for that. So I did have to rip it back a couple of times on that. But I kind of think for that sort of pattern, like if you were doing an all over pattern, you'd really get into it because it's got lines, like diagonal lines that you can kind of, once you hit those, you know, when you're following a pattern, once you hit those diagonal lines, you know, oh okay, I'm at that point, and it's kind of easy to remember. But with this, there was just the one star, and then you go onto a checkerboard sign and then back onto the star. But I really like doing that, the little checkerboard, because once you've finished the star bit, you were kind of going, oh, okay, I'll just do this little 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 kind of pattern, which I really liked, because it was like a little bit of a rest. So if you're sort of watching TV or something, which yeah, I couldn't really watch TV with this pattern except for the ribbing bit, and that, like, there were quite a like nice amount of kind of rest sections, which was nice. Like you can kind of rest once you're on the thumb. You can just do the thumb, can't you? And when you're on the like little ribbing bit, you can just do that, and that's like a little non-brain kind of section. But then it has enough like challenging bits to keep you interested, and I love that about Fair Isle as well, that you have sort of 3 rows of one colour, and then you're going on to like a couple of rows of one colour, another colour, and it's kind of, I don't know if it's like a brain thing, like it keeps you interested. And you go, oh, I finished that colour, I can break off and do a new colour. And it's, I mean, it's the same pattern, so it's not, it's got like lines of symmetry that you follow, so it's not like, what am I trying to say? So the colours keep you interested. And this is the first time that I've done an afterthought thumb. I did an afterthought heel for the first time on, and I'm not going to be able to remember the name of it, am I? Oh, what's her name? Tack. So I've just remembered that my camera only records 20-minute sections, so I need to keep an eye on that. I was talking about the Ella Gordon mitts, the Radiant Star mitts that I made recently for my sister. So yeah, I'm really glad that I made that, and it's the first time that I've done an afterthought thumb. I've done an afterthought heel recently on Tacti Socks, that's Leslie Smith's sock pattern, which I haven't finished. I've only done the heel, but it's a really nice heel. I think it's, yeah, I said, anyway, so I didn't really like the afterthought thumb, to be honest, because it sort of makes your hand go like this, whereas my hand goes like that, which I saw her on the Pins and Needles podcast that she'd said that before, and I kind of thought, oh, she's got big hands though. I'm sure I mean, I'm not like saying she's got big hands, but I think she said she gets a bigger hand size, so I thought, oh, maybe that's why. But actually, I quite like a gusset, and it doesn't take too much more to increase, and maybe I could modify that if I did that pattern again, because she does it so it's there's a couple of rows of brown up each side, so if you did want to do a gusset, it wouldn't affect that part of the pattern. But I did like the afterthought thumb because I could just focus on the pattern going in the round, so I can see how it's quite practical. But the afterthought thumb, it still looks nice, and it's still quite comfy. Yeah, and I'm glad they fit as well. So, and I think they look really nice. Yeah, and it's really interesting to try different techniques as well, just to see what works for you and how your body shape is going to work, how the knitting, making that to your own body shape. There are lots of different ways to do that, so that was really cool. Yeah, and she does a really good video on speed swatching as well. So I'm not going to talk about the tacti sock pattern here because I haven't finished it. I'll put a little picture of the heel in though, because it is really pretty. Okay, but I haven't gone on with that pattern at the moment because it's held double stranded, and I just couldn't get on with like having the two strands. On some things, like on shawls, I didn't really mind, but I think because I'm doing it in DPNs in the round, it just, and in Fair Isle as well, it kind of just, well, or I'm still not sure if you can call it Fair Isle if you're not doing it on Fair Isle, but the technique is Fair Isle. Anyway, tell me in the comments if there are copyright infringements on that. We'll just call it colour work. It's a Fair Isle pattern though. Okay, but I think if I had just DK weight wool, then I'd just do that pattern and just try and, because otherwise I'd have to figure out modifications for a fingering weight, and I've done fingering weight socks before, or 4-ply, and it's just worn down really quickly, so I think getting the perfect natural sock is like my next challenge, is to find a good natural sock. I already have one that's Woolly Mammoth fibre company, so maybe I could do the pattern plain and just see if that's a nice natural sock, and then maybe I could figure out how to and then I could buy some different DKs and do it Fair Isle. So I think it's all about finding the right wool for that project, and I don't want to do all that work and not, yeah. So I think I could use like Tormentil from Urido Yarns in the yellow part, and then I could just get some DK blue and white and do the rest of it in just blue. And I've already got some blue already, so it could do a bit of a stash dive. Oh, actually I've got some other blue as well that's Gansey weight that I don't really like to knit with. It's got a really high twist, but then that would be really good for socks, wouldn't it? So maybe I do have enough wool to do that. Okay, you've talked me into it. Right. Knitting. So, I'm not going to show you that because that's kind of secret pattern in progress. It's not very secret because I've told everyone on Instagram anyway that I was going to do it. Okay. Anyway. So while I was doing that tacti sock pattern, I kind of just did a simple pattern, and I thought, oh wow, those colours are really nice actually. Totally got distracted, not surprising. And yeah, it's just like little bricks. So I started trying it. Sorry if you can see some permanent marker. When I was drawing that thing, that spinning thing, I got permanent marker all over myself. So yeah, I've just done a little rib, which I was watching, I can't remember who it was, but on one of the Shetland Wool Week videos, they said that people doing Fair prefer to do 2 knits and 1 purl, so you don't have to purl so much. I don't have a problem with purling, like, I quite like it, that's fine. But I really like the effect of this, and actually I really like I quite like the inside effect as well. So yeah, I decided to do that, and then just do someone has decided to start digging. Is it the neighbour? Is it not? I don't know. Stop doing that. Ah, don't they know I'm filming a podcast? Anyway, so yeah, this is a green sort of mitten, and I think I'll do fingers on it actually, with blue and stone, spice and stone, and tourmaline and stone, and it's on DPNs. So if you're listening to the podcast, not watching it, that's what I just showed you. I'm just trying to do that because I know when I'm listening to a podcast, that annoys me when I when I can't. I'm like, oh, they're showing me something, but I have no idea what they're showing me. And what else have I got? So I got this book, Edward's Crochet Doll Emporium, which is by Kerry Lord. So she's got another book called The Imaginarium, Ed's Imaginarium, and it's so cool. With the dolls, they've got like all these mix and match stuff. So, oh, I'll show you which is the cutest one. Oh, this is really cute. So there's this design competition on the Toft website, and there are basically 3 options of wool, and you can make it your own Ed's Imaginarium monster. And in the Ed's Imaginarium book, it's just like a grey monster that you can do mix and match. Now, I didn't really understand what they meant by mix and match, but I got the book to sort of see what it was about, and you can change all these little outfits. I forgot to mention my British Yarn Explorers Advent Calendar 2021. So it's a yarn calendar, and yeah, I just wanted to tell you about it. So I've got a bit of a copy. Come with me, British Yarn Explorers, as we delve into the British countryside, the fields and valleys of these wonderful countries, where we shall find some beautiful woolly yarns. So I drew some binoculars, and I did the 3D a bit better on the thumbnail picture that I drew, but I think this is kind of cute. So what you're gonna get is, and this is spoilers in case you don't want to know what's in it, you just want to know. It's only rough. It's not, I don't think it's giving too much away. So it's 20 like nano skeins, I call them, of 5 grams of yarn. So some of them will be dyed, some of them won't. You're gonna get a stitch marker, 2 DPNs, a little pattern that I've made, some little like pictures so that you can guess every day what is it going to be, Santa, or is it going to be Walter Scott, or yeah, so sweets, yeah, sheep themed things, yeah, like a Christmas present. And if so, there are 20 yarn things, but on like 4 of the days you'll get some sort of thing that's like wool or British breeds or sort of knitting or wool related, but maybe not yarn specifically. Yeah, so that's what's going to be in there, and I'm really excited. You'll need to get your orders in really quickly, but if you're a bit late for the advent calendar and you just want a winter pick-me-up, just DM me and I'm sure I can sort you out a box of something a bit fun. But I should be sending it out sort of mid-November, so as long as I get orders by then I'll be able to sort it out, because I've pretty much got all the stuff here, but I do need to order one like specific thing before I can send things out. So yeah, I hope you'll enjoy that and that. I'm really looking forward to that. Editing Alex, if you get to this point, what we're going to do is cut it and put that spinning Wheel of Fortune thing at the start and say this is any other business, okay?